Okay, so hello everybody. Welcome to another tutorial of fun and amazing stuff that you can do in Blender. We love Blender, and today is Bento Buddy, my absolute favorite program. I am just getting more and more creative as I use this thing. The more things I can do, the more things I ask if I can do, and the more things I'm learning I can, and it just keeps going on and on. So, we're going to be talking about animations and bringing animations into Blender. Remember, you cannot use the animations that you have in Second Life. You need to either create them or you need to buy them or ask a creator to possibly sell you some, out of world rather than in world. Not a lot of them will do it, but some of them will actually um, uh, make something for you or make uh, they'll accommodate you. I think that's the word I'm looking for. But there are a lot of websites out there that sell short animations, and this is one of them. So this is from Mixamo, and I'm going to go ahead and play it. And I'm going to have to go longer than the 250 here. And so this is a longer one actually from them. And she just gets up there and she starts playing the violin and keeps on going. And I absolutely love her. So I found that because I was looking for an animation for violin playing while you dance. They absolutely positively do not exist until now. I've made a few, and this is going to be like the fourth or fifth or 10th one that I'm making. I've made them in all different ways, but this one was really interesting because we're mixing an FBX file with a BVH file. So I'm going to go ahead and come to File, Import, FBX. And even though I've already imported her, I want to show you how you do it. When you click on your FBX file, you need to come into Armature and you need to have automatic bone orientation checkmarked. That needs to have that. So check mark it and click Import FBX. I'm not going to simply because I've already done it, and here she is. Let me go back to the beginning. After we have her in the scene, we're going to go ahead and just click on her actual rig up here. We can close this one. We are going to go to Character Tools, Animations, and Rig Tools. We have all three of those open for us. So the first thing we want to do with this is click here in the Rig Tools, Change Remove Bone Prefix. And that's done, as simply as that. Okay, now we can close that one. The next thing that we want to do is we want to come over here in the Animation tab and we want to choose Reference Pose Features. When we click on that, we can do the Create Reference Pose. A reference pose is really important. If you don't understand what that is, I'll talk about it when it comes to creating animations, why we need to have this one, and we need to have the T-pose, because T-pose is the one that they use for Second Life. So we can talk about that another time. All right, after that's done, we are going to come up here into the Character Tools and choose Retarget Motion. So click on that, and we're going to load a template. It's like a map. It is actually replacing the one that we took off of here because we need one that's compatible with with the program that we're using. So when we click on the load template and we get this, look for the one that says Mixamo no prefix. And all you have to do is select it. I was over here, I didn't even select it. And then click load map. And that part is done. Easy peasy, huh? For the distance, because as we do this step and we do another step in a moment, they are going to come in at the same place as the one that we have. And just so that we have an easier time selecting the ones that we want to, we're going to set the distance so that they are placed somewhat apart from each other. So put the distance at 0.7 or whatever you're comfortable with and hit the word button action. You see this pops up and it comes out at 0.7 of a meter behind her. So now we have it here and easier to select. Before I start doing too much, I'm going to come up to my gizmo, click on the drop down and choose move. Then I have a move gizmo here that I can move things around. When I do this, I can go ahead and I can play the animation and you can see that this follows exactly what this one is doing. Now, what's in here is an FBX animation. What's in this one is animation information. It's not actually an animation yet. So let's move that back a little bit. And we are going to do what's called baking it. So we're going to take the information and put it in another rig and make it an actual animation. So an animation that we can adjust and change here inside of our timeline, mostly inside of a dope sheet. You can't do that with these ones. Even if I go into pose mode on this one, you see there's no marks here. There's no animation things here. It's just the information. It's not the actual animation yet. So I'm going to go back to object mode. Now, in order to have the ability to work with these animations as well as just manipulate them around, we have to bake this. So in the animation section, I should have left that open, we go to the anim export features. In here, you're going to come down and find bake to proxy. Now don't click it yet. There's something that you need to, Froggy's here. There's something that you need to know about baking to proxy. It's going to bake whatever your keyframes are. So by default, when you bring in an animation, it's always set at 250. But if we stop our animation at 250, let me go here, it ends here, but our animation actually goes much further. So before you bake, please scrub through. I think this one is like 12 something. I could scroll out and have an easier time, but you know, that would be too easy to do. So I think, nope, it wasn't 12. Okay, so here she's got movement. I'm scrolling a little bit. She's still got movement. Maybe it is. A little bit of movement. That doesn't really matter too much, but we might as well do it accurate if we're going to do it at all, right? So let me go ahead and... Okay, so 12:15 I think is good. So let me change this to 12:15. And that is our ending frame. And we're starting at 1, so let me go back here, and there's 1. 1 again is the reference frame. It is only for information. We do not need this to be part of our animation. You do not want this as part of your animation. If you have something that's looped, when it goes back around to the beginning, it will jump into this pose. We don't want that. So let's change our start frame to 2, and we'll show you 2 here. So now when I go ahead and I bake this, these are the frames that are going to be baked and in here. So let me go ahead and bake that. If you only bake it to the 250 and you get all this work done and then you upload your animation and it stops before it's even done, I mean, that gets to be a little frustrating. And how do I know this? Yep, that's right, because I've done it. So no big deal. Now if I move these back to the beginning, let me scroll out and back in a little bit. That's good. So now if I hit play, all 3 of them are playing. So we had to take the FBX and put it into a rig as information, and then we could take that information and put it into a new rig as a BVH by baking it. So let me stop this. Let me put this middle one in pose mode. And, whoops, he's not showing up yet. I do not know why. We will talk about that in a few minutes. We'll check on it one more time. Not that it matters too much right now. I just wanted to show you a point, and I'm not able to do that. Okay, so anyhow, go ahead and come on to this last one, which is the original Bento Buddy we brought in from the FBX action. Let's go ahead and close this up for now. And come down to motion processing. No, not motion processing. What am I talking about? Into our retarget motion, sorry. And we are going to just go ahead and reset stage here. And it gets rid of that one. With this one selected, we can just go ahead and delete that. We don't need that anymore, so delete that. And this one is Bento Buddy 001. And we're just going to move this off to the side. The next thing we're going to do is bring in a BVH. Now for the BVH file, we don't have to worry about anything over here, but we do want to resize this at 0.03. I'm going to bring in a dancing animation and import that there. Go into front view. You will see it came in at frame number 2 because that's what I had this set at, so no big deal. I'm going to hit S to scale it down just a little bit. Make them about the same size. If we go to 1, you'll see it is also in the reference T-pose. Okay? There we go. So for this one, if we come into our load template, this time we don't have to take anything off of that one. We just want to load into this one. We're going to come over to BVH CMU DAZ, click that, and load the map. Simple and easy, that one's done. Our 07 remains, so we just had to click action here. And now we have the one behind it. We can go into frame number 2 here. And if we play it, it's doing the dance that it's supposed to be doing exactly as it is. Alright, let's get in here for a minute. Let me stop this. And I went a little too far. Okay, so we have different tools that we need to make use of. And you can see that as I turn this, as I go forward, this character rig turns around, faces the other way, right? Well, when it does that, the whole body turns. On this one, when I do that, this leg turns individually on its own. It doesn't go around the other leg, it just turns. So watch as I go through this slowly. You'll see it real evident in a minute when, okay, see that right here? This leg is going through that. It's not going around it the way this is. This one's going around. So watch them both. I mean, it looks right, but it's really not. If you go slow, you can see. Okay? So in order to fix that, I could have just showed you, just click on these buttons, but not every one of them does that. So over here, where we did the action and set our distance, we have the anchor pelvis root. Let's go ahead and hit X, Y, and Z. Now, when we do it, I should have stayed up here, right? Or I should have stayed this part of the animation. There we go. Now this turns all the way around. It's not just the leg turning, see? So that's worked out really nice for us. The next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to remember which rig this is. So this is, sorry, this one. So this is 02. This will be 01. This is 02. Okay, so after that's done, we can actually just take this one and just hide it. So hit H. click on this rig and move it to the side. Alright, so now we have the two animations that we want to mix together. We want to take parts of this one and parts of this one and make them into one. So let me come back here. And I'm going to create, let me close that, rig creation. And we're going to add a safe rig, nice and clean and perfect and ready for us. With this selected, let's go back to the animation tab, come all the way down to motion mixer. We are going to lock target on this one because that's where we want our animations to go to. That's the target. This one and this one, these are the sources. These are where the animations are coming from, so add source. Now that's all set, we can click to start picking. Voila. Red means it holds an animation. It has one in there. Yellow means that there's no animations in there. When I select any of this and put it into here, this will turn a aqua blue and this bone will turn green. So I am going to go into frame number 1 because it's easier to choose this one in the T-pose. This one is not going in the T-pose. That's okay. So, and that's because I baked it, remember? And I baked it after the T-pose frame, so that's why this doesn't have a T-pose in it. I didn't have to bake that, but I wanted to. So, to make my life easier, I'm just going to do a little box select and come straight down. Hit B for box select again and come up and do the legs. Then I'm going to come over. Oh, I've got too much. I've got some of that selected, so it wasn't working right. Okay, so I don't know why my computer is freezing up so much, but it did. But it just kind of caught up to what we were doing. So, okay, so I have these bones selected, and in this motion mixer where we did our source and our target, we can now click on add bones after we've selected it. So because I wanted the animation of these bones to go with it, you can now see that these have turned that blue and these have turned that green. And if I go ahead and play this, you see the arms are not doing any animation, but the rest of the body is following along, which is awesome. Now, for this one, I want to do just the arms. So let me see if I can get that in a more friendly, selectable, right there, position. So I'm going to click on a bone to deselect everything else. Basically, box select, select those, and box select those. And now let's add those. So now they have been added. Perfect. Now when I come in here and I go to the beginning, I will now have this dancing person playing the violin. The legs are working great. I love it. Okay, but we have one more little problem. So do you see? You're looking at them and you're thinking, wow, they're moving really good. They're moving just like we expected, except something looks a little odd and you really can't tell what it is at first. What it is this one looks like it's on a hook, like it's being held in place and it's just flailing around in its own spot. So the reason is because we have to anchor it, tell it that its location. What we've done is we've changed all the rotations in these bones, but we haven't given the hip bone a location. So that's what we need to do. We want it to take its location information from this avatar. So remember this was 002. So if we come down here, whoops, you'll see that we can anchor it, right? So 002, and we're going to, let's hit stop, go to the beginning. Let's hit anchor it onto the 002. You could see it automatically jumped. Okay, now when we come in here and we play this, now that's much better. It doesn't look like it's hanging on a hook anymore. It has full movement, everything. It's awesome. All right, now this is actually exportable into Second Life now, but you need to go into object mode. All three of them are selected, so you have to unselect them and select just the one you want. When it comes to choosing anim export or BVH export, anim is always the best choice. It holds more information. More of it is taken into SL than the BVH export, but you need to set this stuff up first. When you import a BVH, you get a window that says, you know, do you want it looped? What frames do we loop? I think it's the ease. Yeah, it's the ease. Like how many frames do you want, or how much time do you want to ease from one animation to the next? And you get to preview it. And that's always a good thing, get to actually see what it is that you're bringing in and say, oh, I made a mistake. I messed up on it. That's not what I want. So what I like to do is I like to just do an export for BVH first, right? I can take that in world and I don't have to upload it all the way. I can bring it in. I can preview it. Yeah, I like that. No, I don't like that. Come back, fix it, whatever. If you like it, that's cool. It's on your computer because you've exported it. So it's on your computer. You can bring it back in anytime you like. But then you come into the anim. You would name it, set its priority. That's the other thing you could do on BVHs. Choose loop. Here we would actually loop it in at number 2 because that's where our frames actually start. We could take this all the way up to 12:15 to export it, but you have to be careful because it might be too long for SL. SL animations have to be limited to 60 seconds or below, and if you're smart, you would do 59 seconds or below. That last second really doesn't make that much difference in an animation. I'd rather cut an animation in half than, you know, try to stuff too much information into it. Anyhow, so you set all of this ahead of time, and then you could do the export animation, and then you can bring it right into SL. Now, the other thing is that, one second. Okay, sorry about that. So the other thing is before I baked to proxy, I could have changed the actual size of the animation, meaning how many frames it had into it, so that I could adjust the frames per second. So we're going to do that all in another video, where this one animation was going really slow and this one was going really fast. And when you mix them together, neither one of them are actually playing at the frame rate that you want. So we're going to learn how to actually make the two of them have different frame rates and then bake those to proxy. So anyhow, it's a whole other thing. I hope that you like this video. Please subscribe and share it and give me a thumbs up. And remember, the more you give me my thumbs ups and subscribe and share and all that, the more videos I'll be doing. And we can have a lot more fun in SL. So check out Bento Buddy and let me know how everything's going. Thanks.